to just chat a little bit today about how scent moves, because this is very important when observing your dogs. And it's also just fascinating, honestly. So when I say scent and odor, I want to just kind of take apart for you what I'm talking about. So normally, when we're in nose work and we're talking about scent and odor, odor refers to once the dogs are searching for a specific odor. So I am a National Association for Scent Work, Canine Scent Work instructor, and that means that we are searching for three essential oils: birch, clove, and anise, and that's at a more advanced level. Those are single molecule essential oils, and we refer to those as odor. For us, scent is more about the things in the environment, like hot dogs and things like that. But I am going to start referring to anything that is what your dog is searching for as odor, because I want you to get used to the language. So, so that's what I'm talking about when I'm talking about odor. I'm talking about the aroma of the thing that they're searching for. Now, at higher levels, they're searching for single molecule essential oil odor. At this level, they've got kind of a more interesting problem, because what's amazing about dogs is that not only are they just smelling hot dogs, they're smelling all the components of hot dogs. So they, smell all the things that are in that liquid smoke and the things that make up, they break it down into the most essential things, like the teeny pieces that make up what is a hot dog. And then they also are getting the odor from maybe what it was contained in or what it is currently contained in. It's a really complex problem for them. So that's one of the reasons that we search for this single molecule essential oil when we get up to higher, to more difficult problems and the higher search levels, is because we want that problem to be very clear for them. But your dogs are happy to search for hot dogs and all the components that make up hot dogs. So let's talk about, I just want to make sure that I'm covering everything, because I had a pre-recorded thing for you, but my internet wiped it out. The way that odor moves is fascinating. It flows. Odor flows. It moves like, we call it the scent cone, but it moves like water or smoke or even a shadow. So when you've got a hot dog inside of a box, the odor comes out, it hits the edges of the box, it may even go around those edges, it flows down the sides, and then it goes along whatever the surfaces are around. If it hits another box, it banks onto that, so like a shadow hits a wall. That's how odor moves. It's fascinating. It's a pool or a shadow or smoke moving. It's just fascinating, and that's the problem that your dogs are working out. And the way that dogs work odor is from the edges in. So what your dogs are learning to do right now is to find the edges of the scent pool or the scent cone and then triangulate in to the source. It's a huge problem. They're not just like going, oh, look, there's hot dogs. They're not. They're like, oh, over here, I'm detecting some hot dog scent. And then as I move away, it drops off, which means I'm not going in the right direction. I have to go back this way. Fascinating. And next week, I'm going to talk a lot about how their olfactory system breaks that stuff down and how it actually works. And it is extraordinary. You will be amazed by your dog and what your dog can do and what kind of instrument they're carrying around with them, which is incredible. So they are reading the edges of that scent cone and triangulating into source. It is very cool, and I really want you to start to develop your eye for it. A really good example of that is when people say how stupid their dog is because they throw the ball into the grass for their dog and the dog just goes right over the top of it. It's like right there and they go right over the top of it. And the reason is because they're not using their eyes, they're using their nose. And so what they're doing, they're catching that scent pool. Here's the ball. They come in, they catch the edge of that scent pool, they cross through it, it starts to drop off, they head back this way. Bam. That's how come. They have to cross through that scent pool to find the edges and work it back in. And you kind of see dogs do that with a ball in the grass. They kind of triangulate. So your dog's not stupid. Your dog's using their olfactory system in a really smart way. It always cracks me up when people say how dumb their dogs are because they can't find the ball in the grass without, searching a lot. It's so hard for us to think about their nose in terms of what it can do as compared to our eyes. We are so visual that it's really hard for us to drop into the language of their olfaction. Really, it is, because we just don't see that. We're so inept in that zone. We have zero to add to that conversation, and they have all the ball in their park, and we got nothing. We can't smell worth a darn, and they can. And so they are not using their eyes, they are using their noses, and you will get to see that even more as we go along, and as they develop their skill set, you will see it so much more clearly. A couple of things about their olfactory system, which we are going to dive more into next week, but that are important right now. And some of you live in very hot areas, and so that's something that I want to talk to you about, because using that olfactory system of theirs requires heat and moisture. So remember, this is why I said make sure they have access to water and make sure they pee, search pee, because that activation of that system, the energy that it takes to keep that system moist and warm, does a couple of things. First, it stimulates them to need to eliminate, but it also heats their core body temperature up. This activity literally can heat up the core body temperature of your dog. And so that is something that I want you to be really aware of, because it can actually it can be dangerous for some dogs. So, watch for panting. They can't run their olfactory system when they're panting. They have to not be doing that in order to really efficiently run their olfactory system. If they are panting, it's a much harder job. And then they're going to heat their core body temperature up even more. So something to be super aware of is if you live somewhere very hot, if your home is quite hot, then make sure that your searches are short, fast, easy, profitable, and move on. Go have a drink of water and a pee-pee, come back in, do another one, but don't work them for too long. But it's the dogs that, are panting, they can't work anymore. They're going to still try to work that problem out, but they can't. And they're in danger because their system is working overtime and their body core temperature is heating up. So I want you to be really cognizant of that. And, panting as opposed to chuffing, because it's hot. Chuffing, that kind of that we see when dogs are actually using their olfactory system. They're moving that air through their system. So those are different. Keep your eyes attuned to that if you can. So overheating, small dogs and senior dogs are in a special danger of that. So with those guys especially, just be aware of that. If you guys are using fans or air conditioning in your house, please talk to me about that a little bit, because it does change everything in the room for your dog. And that's okay. If you need to do that, that is fine. But will you let me know so that I can, when I'm looking at your videos, it helps me to know what the airflow in the room is doing if it's being forced like that. We do address airflow later on in a more systematic way, but if you need to have air conditioning or fans running in your house right now to keep it cool, that does affect the search area, and I want to be able to help you look at that and see that. So when you post a video and you've had air conditioning or a fan running, please just comment and say so that maybe show me where it is in the room or what it's doing. It does affect the search area in a really kind of a cool way. Temperature really affects the scent cone, as does surfaces. So in the heat, your scent is going to move further. It's going to really move around. It's going to rise up a little bit because the heat rises, right? It's going to take that scent up with it. In the cold, if it's the wintertime and you're in the cold, the scent will stay very contained. It won't flow out in the same way unless air is moving it. So, when we're searching outside in the cold on a still day, the dog is going to have to get quite close to the source to catch it. These are really big skills that we're building. They're really intricate skills and complex skills that we're building with dogs. And all that stuff comes into play as we go along. Dogs are always working the edges of that scent cone. They are working the edges. They're looking for that edge, and especially as they get better at this, they're going to look for that edge, and then they're going to start working the edges in the room and trying to figure out where it's not and where it is. They do both. Panting, chuffing. The other thing I wanted to just say is about encouragement. So I love for you guys to encourage your dogs and cheer your dogs on. There's a couple of things to just observe with that. Some dogs are going to need encouragement and want encouragement. Some are not. That's just your dogs being individuals. I think Otley really needed a little bit of extra soft. Otley's very sensitive, so soft, gentle encouragement. Good job, Ot. Okay, yeah, go find it. Good job. Kind of stuff. Other dogs, you're like, yeah, way to go, and they're like, yeah. Meet your dog where they are in terms of encouraging them, but please feel that you can encourage them. You can encourage them as they begin the search right now. I'm going to change that later on, but for now you can encourage them as they come into the room if they're looking a little like weirded out by the thing. But if not, then just let them search. Try to not speak to them while they're searching, but when they get to the food, oh, good job, that was amazing, that was really good, while they're eating the food, and then let them go on and find the next one. When we speak to dogs while they're searching, we reorient them back to us. And when they reorient back to us, they turn their olfactory system off. So, their olfactory system is a very deliberate piece of equipment, and it needs some space to run. It needs some space, and I don't know how else to say that right now, really, but maybe I'll come up with better words later. But so trying not to talk to them while they're searching unless they really need your encouragement, and then for sure encourage them. We want to make this really fun. We want to let them know that it's okay. Do encourage your dog or not, depending on your individual dog. And if you want my opinion on a specific dog and specific situation, then just post video and I'll let you know. I tend to not say anything to my dog until she's found it, and then I roll it on. Every dog is our dog, and they're all nutty. One final thing that I wanted to leave you guys with. I heard this analogy long ago from a nosework instructor, and it has stuck with me because I think that one of the things that we really have the most trouble with is not looking with our eyes at the situation. Um, why isn't he finding it? It's right there. And it's not right there because they are not using their eyes. And we cannot not use our eyes. That's all we are. We are just eyes. We're like big eyes. And they're all nose. They're just a big nose. And so our worlds are very different. And here's the analogy that I heard for if our eyes had the same capability as a dog's nose, we would be able to stand on a hillside in Seattle, Washington, and see the Manhattan skyline. That's crazy. That's pretty profound. What they can do is, what they can do is unreal. And we will definitely be talking more about that next week. What I want from you guys for the second part of week 1 is just to keep doing what you're doing. I am going to have you, I'm going to post 3 videos of Foxy searching that I have narrated her working the scent pool in the room, so that you can start to really get an eye for what objects she worked off of to get to the source. She's a very experienced searcher and she works very methodically. So she makes for good video that way. Plus she's so cute. I also want you to do some searches, not all your searches. Some of your searches I want you to keep having fun with what you're doing with multiple boxes and multiple hides in there. But I also want you to do some searches where your dog is not in the room. You set your boxes out. You put out 1 or 2 hides. So a hide is a piece of food in this situation. And then you open the door and let your dog come in and search. So the reason I'm going to have you do it this way now is that now your dogs know what boxes are all about. They've hopefully made the association that boxes are all about hunting for food. So now when they come in the room and it's already set up, that's going to give you a chance to step back and really watch how they work that problem out. And with only 1 or 2 in the room, especially if it's just 1, you will really get to see how they work that specific problem out. And that will really start to build your skills, which are going to become really important because your dog's body language when they're on the hunt is going to be important to you as you move along, especially if you go on to compete. I hope some of you do. It's really fun. So that's my riff on Odor and how it moves and how your dogs navigate it a little bit. Anytime we walk through the room, we move the scent pool around. That can be a problem sometimes, especially when dogs are just starting out. So try to stay out of your dog's search area for now. That's going to change too. All of this is just, the building steps. Letting your dogs really start to unfold that equipment and really put it to work in a way that they have not probably done before. So that's my riff. I could nerd out on this stuff all day long, and I hope that you guys are going to be like that too. Make sure you watch each other's videos. There is so much learning in each other's, so much. It's watching the other dogs that really builds your skill set the best. So make sure you watch each other's videos, and I will try to comment. I will comment on all videos. I try to do a video comment when there's something that I would like you guys to really pay attention to. Something that a dog, needs or does or whatever. So pay attention for those. We've only just begun to sniff. Sorry. I mean, it's so exciting. I get so excited for you because if you think this is fascinating, oh my gosh, so much to come. All right, you guys, great work. Keep it up. Have fun. I'm loving it. I'm loving what you're doing. It's awesome, and I'm so excited. And this group is awesome. Yay, okay.